If you ever wanted to build a scalable navigation bar in Framer with full responsiveness and a mobile menu, you're in luck. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you the best way to build a complete navbar in Framer. Let's go. So we'll build our navbar in 3 simple steps. 1, we'll design the look of our navbar and create the core structure. 2, we'll turn it into a component and use variants to make it responsive across breakpoints. And 3, for our mobile breakpoint, we'll add a drop-down menu that interacts via a hamburger menu. Okay, so here I have my project in Framer, but as you can see, it's missing a navbar. So the first thing I'm going to do is press F on my canvas and draw a new frame. And what I'll do is actually just sit that at the top of my desktop breakpoint here, right at the top here. And we'll set the width to be 100%. So it takes up 100% of the breakpoint itself. And just for now, let's set a height of say 60, it might be a little bit too short, 65 pixels. Okay, great. So now let's rename this and call it our navbar. And let's start actually adding our content. So the first thing I want to do is paste in my logo here, which is actually just an SVG. Now inside of my navbar frame here, I'm also going to turn layouts on and we're going to utilize stack layout. We're going to set the direction to be horizontal and we're going to set the distribute to be space between. Now let's also add some padding on the outside here as well. So just for now, let's set it to be say 15 pixels. And we also want to add some navigation links here. So I'm just going to press T on my keyboard and we're going to start typing. So we might have a features page and let's actually just change the typeface quickly here as well. So we might have features, we might have company, we might have pricing, and let's add one more for contact. Now you will notice because I have pushed everything to be spaced between within the frame itself, it means that everything's going to be spaced as far away as possible from each other. But the problem is I actually want all these links here to kind of be grouped together inside of their own frame. So what I'm going to do is select all 4 of those text elements. I'm going to right click. I'm going to add them inside of their own stack, which is just a frame with layouts automatically applied. And we'll set the width here to be auto or fit content. So it's automatically going to size this element based on the required space. Now we'll also increase the gap here as well. So maybe we set this to be say 25 pixels, maybe a little bit more. Let's go 30. And now you can see that the navigation links here are a little bit nicer together. Now the last thing I do want to add here is just a big call to action button that says get in touch on the right hand side. So to do this, all I'm going to do is draw yet another frame on the navbar here. And this time, let's actually give it a funky background color. Let's set the radius to be as high as possible so it gets super round. And let's also add some text on the inside, which literally just makes it a button. So we'll add some text here and we'll say get in touch. And maybe we make this one a little bit bolder. Cool. And I'm also going to set the height and width of this one to be auto, so fit content. And we'll just add some padding on the outside here, just like so. And we'll call this our call to action button. And then our links here with all our text, we'll call this our links. Great, now let's rearrange the layout here. And now you can tell that we have the logo on the left-hand side, the links itself centered on the page, and then the button on the right-hand side because everything is pushed to be spaced between, meaning everything's going to space evenly across. So this looks pretty good. There's a couple of things we want to do. First, I'm going to press K and actually just scale down my logo just a little bit because it felt a little bit too big. So we'll bring this one down just like so and press apply. Now the spacing here on the left-hand side looks pretty good. Like the padding here feels even. But on the right-hand side, because of the height of my button, feels a little bit off. So what I'm going to do is actually just tweak the individual padding on the right-hand side. And we'll say set that to be 8 pixels. And now it feels a little bit more even. And if I preview my site here, you'll notice that my navbar looks like a proper navbar. Now you notice that if I now make my navbar bigger, that it's actually going to be responsive as expected. Okay, so now that we've built the actual structure of our page, we want to go ahead and actually make this a component so we can actually deal with responsiveness. Now, why should we actually make it a component? Well, because this is going to be an element that I'm going to reuse on my website multiple times, creating it as a component means I can just have one global instance of that component, and then anytime I make an update in future, it will be applied globally wherever that component is. So every page on my website. So to do this, I'll just right click on this navbar and I'll go create component and we'll call it navbar. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so as you can see, automatically it's created 3 variants for me already for my desktop, tablet, and phone breakpoint. Now it's done this automatically because I already have breakpoints here on the canvas and it's detecting that there's going to be different versions or sizes of that component already. So this is essentially what you want to do is make sure that you have at least 3 variations of the actual component here for each of your breakpoints. And therefore I can actually just go through and style it as expected. So on tablet, it looks pretty good. There's nothing really I would change here. On mobile, we have a fair bit of issues. So we're actually going to clean this up and we're also going to look at a mobile navigation as well and how to do that properly with a drop-down menu. But for now, what I can do is actually just hide the links by pressing delete on my keyboard. Now you will notice they're not actually deleting, they're just being hidden. So we can actually bring them back later on. Okay, so this looks a little bit cleaner now. And let's go back to our homepage here. And as you can see, everything is being applied correctly. Now, the other issue that we have with our navbar here is when I scroll, it doesn't actually get stayed stuck to the top. So what I need to do is actually select that navbar component, go to position at the top of the properties panel, and we're actually going to set the position to be fixed, meaning it's going to be stuck, it's going to be fixed to the top of the viewport, meaning it's going to stay at the top of the page the entire time. So as you can see, now as I scroll my page, it actually gets stuck there, and across all breakpoints, it's going to remain that way. Okay, so this is great and all, but on mobile, we don't actually have access to those navigation items that we had set up before. And this is where we're going to actually create a mobile menu and add an interaction using a hamburger icon. So we'll click back into the component here. And the first thing that we're actually going to do is add a wrapper, and we'll see why in just a minute. But basically, I'm going to select all 3 of my elements here. So my logo, my links, and my call to action. And I'm going to right click this and I'm going to add them inside of their own stack. And we're essentially going to recreate these, the layout rules that we had before. So we'll set the distribution to be space between, and we'll add the same padding as well. So we've got 15, 8, 15, 15. I'm actually going to remove it from my desktop breakpoint here. So we'll remove that just like so. We'll go into this stack here, which let's just recall holder for now. And let's go ahead and add our padding. So it's going to be 15 on all sides, excluding the right-hand side. And you'll notice we've got some weird height issues going on here, which means something is overflowing. So inside of my desktop here, we're just going to set the height to be fit content by typing auto. And now that's going to size as expected. Now, the reason we put it inside of this holder is because when we actually design our mobile navigation, it's going to actually change the layout rules completely, and we need to make sure that this top section always remains stuck. So to demonstrate this, what we need to do is basically design 2 states for our phone breakpoint. We're going to have a default state like this with a hamburger menu. And then the idea is when I press on that hamburger menu icon, it kind of creates a drop down to show the rest of my navigation lists that are currently hiding. So we can actually rename this variant here and we'll call it phone closed. Now I'm also going to drag in an icon. So let me bring in an icon and we'll put this here on the page. And let's actually find some sort of item that might look cool. Maybe something like this, a few dots. I feel like that's pretty strong. So we'll size that up a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll actually wrap this inside of its own frame and we'll call this our hamburger. And I'm just going to set the width and height to be auto as well. So it automatically gets sized based on the size of the icon itself. So maybe we can make that just slightly a bit bigger. And I actually want this to be to the right-hand side of this button here. So what I'm going to do is actually grab both the call to action button and the hamburger icon. And again, we'll wrap that inside its own frame. And let's actually just call this our buttons. And we'll set the width of this to be auto. And again, let's change the positioning here. And maybe there's slightly too much space between, so we might just drop that down ever so slightly. And I could argue for consistency's sake, we actually need to fix the padding again. So we'll add that back to be, say, 15 pixels. And that looks pretty good. Now you'll notice that if I go to, say, my tablet breakpoint or even my desktop breakpoint here, everything's kind of stuffed up. And that's because, similar to hiding the links before, we can't actually delete anything from another variant of a component. We're just hiding or showing it. So for example here, when I added this new buttons frame, it actually added that across all the different variants, meaning that we've got some weird layout issues. However, we can just quickly fix that by setting the width here to be fit content, and everything is back to normal. And you'll notice that the hamburger is only showing on phone. So this is looking pretty good, but now we actually need to design a phone open state. So when someone actually presses this hamburger icon, what happens? So we'll create a new variant here by selecting the phone closed variant and pressing on new variant. And it's essentially going to duplicate that variant for us. And let's call this our phone open variant. Now, this is where the holder comes into handy, because essentially what we're going to do now is draw a new frame on the canvas, and we're going to put it underneath our holder. Now, inside of my phone open here, I'm actually going to set the direction to be vertical, and we're going to set the distribute to be to the start. So the reason why we've done this is so I can keep this holder intact, and I can have a layout which is essentially going to let me stack elements below it. Now, we'll set the width of this one to be 100%, and we'll call this our dropdown. And let's just increase the height ever so slightly. And there's a gap in between these elements here, so I'm just going to remove that. And now we actually want to add our links. Now, similar to before, if I grab my links here and change the positioning of where they are on the link tree, so say if I put them inside of my dropdown, you notice that's going to change on every single variant. So the trick here is to just simply duplicate those elements. So we're going to keep them inside of the top navigation here, but I'm actually just going to copy these links here. I'm going to paste them inside of my dropdown, and we'll set that to be show. Now, what I can do is change the styling and the direction of this as well. So we'll change the direction to be vertical. We'll set the alignment to be to the left here. And inside of my dropdown frame, we'll turn layout on. We'll set the alignment to be to the top, the distribute to be to the start, and we also need some padding on the outside as well. And we'll set the height here to be auto, so it automatically fits the content. Now, I feel like these text elements are probably still a little bit too small for, say, mobile, so we might actually just size them up. And maybe we can decrease the space between using the gap property there as well. Now, I feel like we can have a little bit more spacing at the bottom, so we'll actually increase that. We might say double it. And what we might want to do as well is actually add a bit of a border, just as a bit of a styling control right at the bottom. So I'll set the width to be 0, and we only want the border to be at the bottom side. And let's make that a little bit thicker. Let's go, say, 5 pixels. And let's grab in this lime looking color. And there you go. So we basically have a phone closed state and a phone open state. But the problem is there's no actual way to interact between them. So if I scroll down to my phone breakpoint here, this looks good, but when I click on my hamburger, nothing happens. So let's actually go ahead and add an interaction to make this work. So what I'll do is actually go to my phone close breakpoint. I'll select the hamburger layer here. I'm going to add a new interaction at the top right. I'm going to create a new transition. And this is essentially how we can animate between component variants in Framer. So first we'll set the trigger, so when this animation or interaction actually occurs. So we're going to make it on click, so when somebody clicks on that hamburger menu. And then we're going to make it transition to our phone open variant, just like so. And we can preview this. So if I press on preview here, press on the hamburger menu, you'll notice it opens up my navigation here, which looks great. And we also want to make it go the other way. So on the phone open breakpoint, what we can do is actually just grab this little lightning bolt and drag it to where we want it to go and make sure the interaction is on click. So now when I preview this again, I can open and close my navigation. How cool is that? Now I can go a little bit further too and actually add a slight interaction. So let's make it that when I actually click on this hamburger menu here, this icon does a little bit of an animation and maybe it kind of like tilts around or something. Maybe it rotates 90 degrees. Let's see how that looks. So I'll preview it and you notice Framer kind of does the animation in between of those elements. Probably feels a little bit too strong, so we might set it to be 45, and then that way it's also got a different shape. But as you can see, it's playing that animation pretty well. Now I can also set the transition for that animation as well. So if I select the phone close breakpoint, go down to transition here, we can set some physics. So I might set the physics to be say 200, just to make it a little bit softer. And then again, we can preview that and you'll notice it's just a little bit slower, which is kind of nice. Okay, so we're getting super close, but let's actually go back to our page here. Let's preview this and let's actually go down to our mobile breakpoint. Everything looks good, but there's probably one issue, which is when I click on this menu here, it seems to be broken. Now, why is this? Now, this is a very common thing when it comes to working with navbars or just components in general, is everything has to do with fixed heights. Often when you come into issues with this, where you go, why isn't my navbar actually like changing sizes, even though I've set up the interaction and it looks good inside the component itself? Often the problem is a sizing issue. So you can see here, we have the width, which is 100%, which is what we want. But the height is fixed to 65 pixels. And that's the same across all breakpoints, meaning that when I actually try to change the variance here to the full dropdown, it's only staying fixed at 65 pixels. So the simple fix for this is to type auto or set it to be fit content. And now that size is going to automatically adjust based on that variant. So when I actually click on the hamburger here, now you notice that we get that nice looking dropdown, and I can close that. And just like so, I now have a navigation bar fully built in Framer that is also truly responsive. And that's how you can build a full navbar in Framer with true responsiveness and a mobile navigation, just like you can see here. If you enjoyed this video and you want more Framer tutorials just like it, subscribe to the channel because we're putting out new videos every single week. And if you're interested in mastering Framer, like truly mastering it, feel free to check out my A to Z course where I teach you everything you need to know to become a Framer expert. There's over 100 lessons and it's the most up-to-date Framer course on the internet. We do monthly office hours, there's monthly live workshops with Framer experts and mentors. There's a ton of resources, especially if you're serious about Framer and want to become a designer that can not only design, but also develop and publish pixel perfect production ready websites. But you'll find all the information for that down below. But until next time, I'll catch you later.